As I've already explained, a cante is built from different construction blocks, from different Legos, such as letras or coletillas or estribillo. Today let's talk about the first cante element that we hear in a cante or a baile, la salida del cante. Hi, this is Guillermo Guillen for FlamencoMAPS. Welcome to my channel. Whether you dance flamenco, you play guitar, you sing, you play palmas, you play cajon, or you just love it and you want to better understand how it works, today I will explain to you what la salida del cante is precisely and what is it for, what is its function. As always in flamenco, there are things that seem simple, but when you look closer, it's not so simple anymore. And it's the case for la salida del cante. But before going into details, we must first understand what it is precisely and what it is used for. Stick around till the end so you can begin to understand why you shouldn't rely too much on the salida to identify palos and styles. La salida literally means the exit, but also the departure, like la salida del tren, the departure of the train. It is the departure of the cante, the presentation of the singer. The voice makes its first appearance, coming out of silence if it's a cante a palo seco without guitar accompaniment, or following the guitar introduction if it's a cante with guitar accompaniment. La salida del cante as a sung part is a traditional element, a traditional Lego of the traditional structure of a cante or a baile. It is a traditional element in the sense that it is usual and it is expected by the musicians, by the dancer, and even by the public if it's an audience of aficionados and aficionadas. In terms of the overall structure of a traditional cante or baile, the salida del cante belongs to the introduction part. It means that we find a salida del cante at the beginning of most traditional cantes and bailes, but not anywhere. Traditionally, the introduction part follows this order. For a cante, first introduction of the guitar and then salida del cante. After that, we'll have all the letras and falsetas, etc. And for a baile, usually it's first the introduction of the guitar, then the salida del cante, and third the salida del baile. After comes the body of the cante with the letras, the falseta and escobilla, all the rest. So what does that mean, this traditional form? It means that if we don't rehearse, if we don't want to create a fancy choreography, and if nobody asks questions about the structure, this is the typical order that we will follow by default. La salida del cante has four main functions. Match the pitch of the voice and the guitar, to tune the voice, what we call templar in Spanish. That's why you will sometimes find the term temple instead of salida del cante. But we'll need another video to talk about this very interesting word and concept of temple. It's also a warm-up for the voice before starting with the body of the cante, with the letras, the coletillas, the estribillos, which will require more vocal skills. It also gives the colors, the character of the palo. It's like a presentation, a taste of the mood of the palo before the real cante begins. And we must not forget the importance of emotion and interpretation. A simple salida can already move you, it can already make you cry, or it can make you want to hear more. I mean, it's more than just a formality, just a piece of Lego that we need to go through. It's already an expressive tool for the singers. Many palos and styles have their own traditional salida. Here are some examples of the most common typical salidas, starting with the ones that I'm sure everybody knows.
Ay, 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 ay,
Ya, ya. Ya, ya. Tiri, 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 ay. Tiri, 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 ay, 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 ay,
And there are many, many more. As you can see and hear, traditional salidas usually have no lyrics. They are combinations of specific melodies with onomatopoeias. Ay, lererere, ya ya, tirititran, tiritiri, tiria, trorolo don't mean anything. Sometimes you can find ole or small words like anda, but it never forms sentences with a meaning. As always in the cante flamenco, the most important thing is the melody. In the same way we can recognize a style of letra by its melody, we can recognize a salida by its melody. You were able to identify the melody of the Tilititran, right? Which is itself a melody of a typical style of Coletilla de Alegría de Cádiz, but we'll talk about that another time. Like the Salidas del Cante in a letra, each salida has its own melodic shape, its own tercios, its own melodic lines, with internal and main caídas. So it's like everything else, you have to learn them, study them, understand them, starting with the most traditional salidas. The melodies of the traditional salidas are usually shorter and simpler than the letras of the cantes that will follow, and they remain close to the basic harmonic cadence of the mode in which we are, whether it is in major, in minor, or in flamenco mode based on the Andalusian cadence. But sometimes they are also long and complex. And now a very, very important thing. We tend to take dangerous shortcuts when trying to identify palos and cantes styles. Like if you hear Tirititran, it's an Alegría de Cádiz. If you hear Lelele, it's a Soleá de Cádiz. If you hear Tiritiri, it's a Siguirilla. So be very careful here because it's not so simple. The salida can help us determine a palo. It can give us a clue. Okay. But it's not 100% reliable. Remember that the only way to identify the styles of cantes is to identify the melodies of the letras. In the next video, I'll tell you what to watch out for. But here I explain the biggest trap you'll fall into if you rely too much on the Salida del Cante to identify a palo. Remember that singers always have a choice, even if most of the time there is a Salida del Cante at the beginning of any cante or baile, it is not an obligation. They can skip the Salida del Cante. There are many cantes and baile without salida. So if you were counting on it to identify the palo, you are in trouble. La salida del cante is maybe not the most important part, except for a cante competition where the singers are expected to sing everything in the traditional forms, including the salida. But in general, it's more of a warm-up, the main course of a cante being the letras and coletillas, if there are coletillas. But still, we must know them because they are part of the traditional structures. They are part of the game and they are already potentially charged with emotions. But be aware, do not trust the salida too much. It is a dangerous shortcut to think that a salida gives us a clear, definitive and precise indication of the style or the palo. More about this in the next video. That's it for today. I hope it could help. Thank you so much for watching. If it helped, you can also help me by liking this video, subscribing to the channel. You can share the video, leave me a comment. And also go and visit flamencomaps.com where I explain my classes, my courses, and my way of teaching flamenco. I see you there. Till then, don't forget, learn flamenco, make it fun, make it different, make it your own.